Let's bring in MJP Wealth's Brian Vendig, who's here with me at Impact in Denver. It's good to see you. Your thoughts on this market are what?
I think this market's still a buy, Scott. I know people are talking about valuations and concerns, but we just go right back to earnings. And we look at earnings coming in better than expectations. Outlook for 2026, 13% EPS growth year over year. Don't make it all about growth. Focus a little bit on value and cyclicals, especially if government reopens. Some of these consumer plays are back in focus.
Okay, so let's go there because you like mid caps and small caps, okay? Controversial take in this market currently. Some would say, why make it so difficult on yourself? Just stay big and stay AI.
No, for sure, but you got to look at the earnings growth potential of these companies that are in that space, and the fact that in the large cap space it's sort of concentrated, right? With this mega cap tech story, let's look outside of that. Let's look at areas that are going to benefit from tax policy. They're going to benefit from, Fed moving more neutral. It's a growth story, earnings growth story, participating in an economy that's really bending but not breaking.
Do you think it matters that the market's so concentrated?
I think it matters to an extent because, especially from a retail investor perspective, you have so much exposure to the tech innovation. I'm not saying that trade's dead, but I think at the end of the day, earnings drives markets, and we see a higher participation of earnings growth coming from names outside of tech over the next 12 months or so. And I think it's a good time to look at these days when the market bounces back, diversify a little bit.
And you think you can go 7,000, maybe 7,100 between now and the end of the year on the S&P?
I think if you take a look at history and kind of coming out of these government shutdowns and kind of where the earnings growth story is, there's probably a couple percentage points in seasonality that we can pick up going into the end of the year. And then next year, midterm election year, you got to look at other areas outside of some of these cyclical names. That's why I think healthcare is getting a bid. That's why I see some consumer staple names coming into focus, Scott.
What if we don't come out of the government shutdown?
I think we will come out of the government shutdown because there is some friction that is starting to build, especially as you look at some of the news cycles today on what's going on with the amount of economic loss on a weekly basis, the concerns about more traffic delays, talking about these debates that are starting to, these conversations are starting to happen. I think we could get some brevity on the shutdown over the next couple of weeks.
All right, well, a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks.
First half of November.
Okay, all right.
How about
I'll hold
that?
you to that. All right, we'll see what happens. Brian, thanks for being here.